Imagine this. You're grinding through another chaotic day. Small stresses piling up until they feel impossible to handle. Burnout creeping in, relationships fraying, goals slipping away just when they're within reach. What if you could spot those tiny cracks early, turn them into effortless wins, and build unbreakable momentum without the constant hustle? Discover how to master the art of subtle action, stay calm in the storm, and create lasting success that flows naturally. No force required. Stick around and unlock the quiet power that's been eluding you. Welcome back to the Boundless Sovereign YouTube channel, where perennial truths equals modern freedom. We are in the midst of our Tao Te Ching series. This is chapter 64 from the John Minford translation. If I could talk, suchness so of itself. That which is at peace is easily maintained. That which has given no sign is easily dealt with. Brittle things are easily broken. Fine things easily dispersed. Act before there is substance. Create order before chaos gets underway. A stout tree, an arm span in girth, grew from a tiny root. A mighty terrace, 9 stories high, began as a mound of earth. A journey of 1,000 leagues commenced with a single step. Action invites failure. Whosoever grips loses. The Taoist never acts and never fails, never grips and never loses. The folk often fail on the verge of completion. Heed conclusion no less than commencement, and there is no failure. The Taoist desires no desire, does not value goods that are hard to come by, studies no study, returns to that which the multitude will leave behind, refrain from action, nourish the myriad things in their suchness, the so of itself. And as with our daily tradition, here is our the River Master's commentary. When there is peace, while the seeds of misfortune have not yet sprouted, and the fruits of desire have not yet ripened and become tangible, while misfortune is still weak and easily broken, while it is still fine and easily dispersed, then it is not hard to practice self-cultivation and to rule a nation. This is the relation of being to non-being. When something is about to sprout from non-being, it must be prevented, if at all possible, from coming into being. Rule the nation through self-cultivation before chaos has arisen. Close the gate beforehand. Proceed from the small to the great, from the low to the high, from what is near to what is far. Meddling spoils things. It goes against nature, against the grain. The Taoist abides in non-action, spoils nothing, and meets with no failure. The multitude value brilliance and outward show, but the Taoist values buried light, hidden splendor, reality, and simplicity. The multitude study false wisdom and hypocrisy. The Taoist studies no study. Suchness, the so of itself. The multitude study how to rule the world. The Taoist studies self-cultivation, how to rule self, how to preserve the true wisdom of the Tao. The Taoist returns home to what others leave behind. Others forsake the root for the branch, forsake the fruit for the flower. The Taoist returns to the root, helps all beings to be natural and free. This is a lengthy chapter, actually, compared to some of the other chapters we've read, which can be very, very short. What this is trying to say, and there's one point here I want to just articulate. Rule the nation through self-cultivation before chaos has arisen. Close the gate beforehand. That line right there. Close the gate beforehand. Shut up, man. Keep your mouth quiet. I believe in my heart of hearts that what we speak, what we believe to be true, does become true for us. And speaking ill or speaking of misfortune, I think does breed misfortune. So call it superstitious, but I have a belief that if I don't speak about misfortune, that misfortune generally doesn't arise. This is a continuation of the last chapter, which was really talking about dealing with things while they're small. And in this chapter, we're talking about dealing with chaos before it springs from non-being into being. So I'll use an example of cleaning your room. If your room is a little bit of a mess, maybe you get up in the morning, you pick up your clothes, you put them in the laundry basket, you make your bed, and you leave the room generally organized, then the amount of effort it takes to organize your room every day is very small. But if you don't do anything for, let's say, a week, where you leave your clothes everywhere and you leave your shoes and you leave maybe you have some water, some glasses of water next to your bed, and you don't clean them up every day, and you don't make your bed, and you don't wash the sheets ever, and in a week, or let's say a month, if you do that consistently without cleaning, the chaos starts to invade every aspect of your life. And that chaos is linked to entropy. So if you leave everything to its own devices, everything will trend towards chaos. So in the Taoist philosophy, you're in this space between being and non-being, where you're taking inspired action, aka non-action, at the right moment. So if you're taking if you're flowing with non-action or inspired action, then you're actually going to act early early on when the chaos starts to arise, and you'll actually be able to subvert the chaos ahead of time without much effort. Of course, if you allow the chaos to continue, and then you try to fix it or regain control over the chaos, it will take an enormous amount of action to do that, which will take a lot of effort and a lot of spirit energy. So what this chapter is trying to allude to is that to take right action, Wu Wei, at the right time means to subvert chaos before it arises from non-being. And by doing this, by living in the flow of the Tao, you actually are able to ride the wave between chaos and order. The Buddha talks about this too, about the middle way, about finding peace, standing in the gap between chaos and order. Evading or avoiding responsibility and taking action when necessary leads to chaos. And you can see this in every aspect of your life. I mean, you could just think about it. Think about all the different things that could go wrong if you don't take action when it's required. I think about when you raise children and if you don't set really clear boundaries and hold them accountable when they're young, they'll continue to push boundaries. They'll think that's the way the world is, and so as they grow up, they'll become these little agents of chaos. They'll grow into adults who are also agents of chaos because they have this expectation that the world, that they don't have any boundaries in the world. So as a parent, if you want your kids to grow up and be well behaved and to follow the rules and to do the right things and to take the right actions, you have to set boundaries early on. Make sure they understand what they need to do to be successful and continually hold them accountable to that. I see this in my work too. a lot when I'm developing leaders, a lot of the time that's taken is to condition the leader to realize that they have control over the things that they have going on in their purview, and that it's better to be proactive and to be subverting chaos ahead of time than to let things get out of control and then chaos ensues, in which it is much harder and takes a lot more effort, energy, time to fix. And initially, because a lot of organizations without good leadership tend to wait till things are broken, and they get into this mindset of firefighting. Like if I'm not firefighting, I'm not doing the work. And the work isn't in the firefighting, it's in the proactivity. It's in the elimination of the need to firefight. And that takes a lot of time to condition people out of, because at least in my experience, a lot of junior leaders have experienced firefighting and think that's the way it's supposed to be. And it takes a ton of time and energy to get them out of that mindset, to realize that the work is actually, again, in being proactive and planning and executing strategically instead of just reacting to things. So, yeah, good stuff. This was chapter 64 of the Tao Te Ching. Hopefully it resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe so we can get these videos out to more people. And we will see you all in the next chapter, which is 65 of the Tao Te Ching.